All of us leave a mark somewhere in life, and I just want to make my mark meaningful. Let me start by telling you a story, an amazing children's story written by Peter Reynolds. The story is called The Dot. I was a kindergarten and first grade teacher, so just bear with me here. The story is about a girl named Vashti who hated her art class because she was convinced that she didn't have any artistic ability. She wasn't a good artist. Her teacher, noticing her frustration, encouraged her to make her mark on the page. Vashti, frustrated and disgruntled, simply put a dot on the page and turned it in to her teacher. Her teacher looked at it and said, "Okay, now sign it." When she showed up to art class the next week, what did she see on the wall but her picture of the dot, signed, hanging on the wall in a golden frame for everybody to see? This recognition and this validation in the mark she made motivated her to create more, try harder, and to fill the world with beautiful pictures of dots. Her school had an art show showcasing her dot art, and there she met a boy, also nervous about his artistic abilities, and she asked him and encouraged him to make his mark. And he fills his page simply with a squiggle line. She looks at it, observes it, and of course tells him to sign it. Now, we live in a world that is surrounded by technology that calls everyone to create, post videos, songs, skits, all with the purpose of being recognized and seen. But it's as though the internet and social media has just turned into a giant silo, or giant silos, where we only see and interact with select groups of people, picked for us by algorithms and data collection and behavior analysis. We are dropped in these silos so that billionaires can make more money. And while there is some amazingly creative content out there, it seems as though social media is simply reflecting the concerning times we find ourselves in. That's what these silos are all about. It seems that people create to connect with only the like-minded, or it seems that people post to blast and fight with people who see things differently than them. Often, it is used as a tool to tear each other down rather than to build each other up. Now, it varies from person to person. Everybody has their own connection to social media and their own reasons for interacting with social media. I just want to return to how I first felt about social media, when it was just so exciting to log on and see who you connected with, and what new friends or old friends from your past that you haven't heard from in years, and what they were up to and what they had going on in their lives. Or meeting a new friend and hitting that add friend button and knowing that Facebook was going to be this beautiful documentation of your developing friendship. There was no rush to see how many friends you could get. The number didn't matter when I first started. There was no pressure to post something controversial and then log in every 10 minutes to see if my point was validated by anybody. There was no rush to make the next viral video. To me, it was just about connection. And now I feel like some algorithm is detecting or dictating what connections I get to see and make. So, I'm not just trying to be self-righteous here. Trust me, I've been there. I've used social media to seek validation. I've used it to try to boost my self-esteem. I've even used it to hurt people. And I've definitely at times used it to judge other people's beliefs. I'm no better than anybody else. However, there comes a time when you just realize it's just so silly. Everyone is just a human being doing the best they can. They're doing what they're capable of. They're doing what their environment around them dictates, and they're just trying to make their own mark in the world. A mark that has nothing to do with me. They're holding their own pencil, staring at their own white page. Tearing up or judging their pages does nothing to make mine any better at all. As tempting as it is at times, it doesn't make anything better. Now, I love to create content. I finished graduate school a few years ago with a focus on educational technology. In this graduate program, I studied how students can use emerging technology tools to create and connect and share their learning with the world. I just haven't figured out what type of content I want to create. I've always thought, do I try a podcast? But I'm not a comedian or a celebrity. Do I TikTok, whatever that is? Do I spend my days trying to craft witty observations to the daily news on Twitter? Do I cover myself in BB cream and tanning oil and bronzer and find the best sexy pose on Instagram while trying to find the perfect filter? Or do I whip out a jockstrap and push the boundaries of social media with exactly how much of my ass I can show? Trust me when I say that no one would want to see those final two options at all. So, if I did that, trust me, I might actually gather some sort of a following. I might not. But is that the mark I want to make in the world? Is that the mark I want to make in the online world? Fortunately for everyone, I don't think those are options for me. Who am I? I'm a gay man. I'm an early childhood educator. I was a foster parent. I'm an adopted parent. I'm a husband. And I'm a survivor. I believe in the power of sharing our stories. I believe in owning our vulnerability, shame, and fear, because I truly believe that that type of honesty is what will bring people closer together. Those are the types of connections I seek in my life. Those are the stories that I want to create and share. My stories that come from a place of honesty and vulnerability. I might gather a following. I most likely won't. I'm not Brene Brown or any of those amazing thought leaders. But at least in this social media creation world, I'll be creating in a way that reflects me, my happiness, and my optimism. I have my own blank page in front of me. I have my pencil ready, and just like Vashti, I am ready to make my mark. You can follow my journey through this whole thing and trying to create content that reflects who I am in a light of vulnerability and honesty and compassion and empathy and learning, because we all make mistakes and you got to learn from them. So if you'd like to follow that, you can follow this YouTube channel. You can follow my Instagram. It's at teaching_Jake, or my Twitter, which is simply at teachingjake. So we'll see how this goes. I appreciate anybody who's watched this far, and see you out there.